and welcome to Plumeria Play. Today in The Sims 4, we are building a micro home using only the base game and the Snowy Escape Pack, so let's hop right into it. I did actually stream this build first over on Twitch, so if you see any pop-ups, that's all that is. But I had done a build first that had just a ridiculous amount of packs, so I had decided to do this one with just Snowy Escape as kind of a way to apologize. And I love the Snowy Escape Pack. I think it's one of the best build modes in the entirety of the Sims expansion packs, and I love the way that this one turns out in the end. I will say the floor plan for this one especially came together really quickly, and shockingly it worked on first try, which almost never happens in these micro homes. I usually have to like test and redo a bunch of different times, but we're using all the stuff for the Snowy Escape on the exterior, and I wanted to have this house up on a large foundation because we're gonna put a lake underneath, but it made the stairs kind of weird. But I used these little pieces to kind of use as like the stair foundation almost, and I think that worked out really well. That's not what those are intended for by any means, but I thought that it worked out fine, so I was happy that it did. But anyways, some quick life updates. I'm sorry that the builds and things are a little bit shorter this week, and I kind of did smaller builds, but I am having to pre-record. We are going out of town. Today is Saturday, June 29th, and we are leaving on a Sunday to go to the lake, so I'm not exactly sure when you'll be seeing this one, but by the time you're seeing it, I will already be on a lake somewhere. So I did have to pre-record, which is not something I usually do. So they're a little bit shorter this week for that reason. So I do apologize for that, but I did want to make sure I still posted for you guys. Another thing you might notice if you watch a lot of my videos is a lack of pets in the room. So all of our pets got boarded today since we are going out of town. I'm so sad about it, honestly. I know they're in good hands, but it's still stressing me out just a little bit. And the house feels like dead. But we had to drop them off today because the vet's obviously closed on Sunday, and they close at like noon on Saturday. So we had to take them earlier this morning. So I got to record one video with Apollo still in the room while I was pre-recording, but the rest of the videos will have no animals, which is a little bit depressing. But at this point, they've only been gone for like 2 hours and I already missed them. But anyways, back to the build. We were just getting general things placed down to make sure that we were happy with the layout and that everything functioned. So now that we've kind of got everything laid out and a general vibe that we're going for, we're starting to do some color changes and stuff now. It ends up being kind of like a sage green navy combo in here, which I really love. I did play around with the idea of putting down the tatami mats, but I know that there is a specific way that those are meant to be laid out, and I did not know in which specific way that was meant to happen. So I opted to go with the wood floor just to play it safe. I didn't want to do it wrong or anything like that. So we are now getting some wallpapers and things, and in this micro home we actually ended up with a full bathroom. So this one ends up having a tub in it and everything. It's not just a 3-tile bathroom, which is a miracle, honestly. And I felt like the rest of the house felt kind of open. So I don't know why it felt like I had so much more space in this house for some reason. Maybe because we used a single bed. I think the other reason it felt so open is because we didn't put an official living room in here. So I did use the kotatsu table, and I do end up putting a TV in here, and your Sims can sit there and watch TV and stuff. So I felt like a living room wasn't really necessary. But anyways, we are in the kitchen now decorating this little shelf, and I kept the decorations pretty simple. I felt like the Sim that lived here would have been very minimalistic, and I did try to use platforms at the door where there was like a shoe taking off spot, but it ends up deleting that later. So I think the floor colors are different, which I didn't mind because I liked that it was almost like a separated entry space, but it doesn't end up being a step down like I had originally intended to be. And we did end up getting to use the hot pot here in this build as well. And you can see that color scheme really starting to come together now with the sages and the navy blues. I don't know if you ever build and sometimes things just like work out, but for me, that's what happened with this build. Like some builds are so hard and it's like no matter what I do, I just can't get them to function right. And then there's builds like this one where it just like comes together. I didn't really have to put too much thought into it. It just built itself almost. I find for me, the more I like the pack, the easier it is for me to build with the pack. I guess like if it's more in line with my natural style, it just feels a little more effortless than if I'm trying to build something out of my comfort zone. That's my thoughts behind it, at least. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you ever feel the same way when you build. But here we are placing some more windows because I have this terrible habit where I do the windows in the front of the house and then I just forget that I need to put windows in the rest of the house. I'm like, I'll do the floor plan and then I'll come back to the windows and then I do the floor plan and I just start decorating, and windows are just an afterthought that never come back to me until I'm looking at the build and I'm like, the outside is just not looking quite right. So I'm working on that, but for whatever reason, I do it often. It's kind of starting to become a thing, and I don't know how to make it not a thing, to be honest. But you can see right here, this build is play tested. So Teddy does play test every single item in this build, and everything functions perfectly. I was very scared that she was not going to be able to walk around the kotatsu table with where it was placed, but she did it no problem. And we even managed to put a computer on the kotatsu table. Now, I will tell you, if you download this build, I had to have her sit down in that seat first and then use the computer. I think that's because we also have the hot pot on the table, but she can use the hot pot and the computer. So this is a super functional build. I find when you're doing micro homes, one of the hardest things to fit in is a computer. So it was nice that we were able to put one there on that table. But here we are working on our full-sized bathroom. I cannot believe we put a full-size bathroom in this build, but I started laying it out one way and then forgot that windows existed, so then I had to change the layout completely, but I do think it looks fun. We did use the mountain tile from Snowy Escape. It's not my favorite, but I did want to try to fit it in. And now we are heading outside, where I wanted to put like a pond / lake here under the house. We are going to the lake personally like tomorrow, so I'm assuming that's what inspired me to do a lake in the build. This is actually the second tiny build that I'm posting this week, and they both have little lakes in them, so maybe that was just something that I had going on. I'm really not sure, but I love the way that this looks, and I feel like it blends it into the world so well. For this particular landscaping, I wanted to go for more of an overgrown look, and not really like for florals or anything. I just wanted a lot of like the tall grass and stuff, and I just wanted it to feel very naturally occurring. I did decide to add in a couple of the bamboo trees, which I thought looked really pretty here going up the front. And then I backed up and I noticed this was the only red tree, so I did decide to make it green just so it blended in with the world better. I do prefer the tree to be red, but I thought it made more sense to blend it into the lot. And then we're placing a bunch of these squares down. Those are VFX effects, so they won't actually be squares in live mode. They'll be some kind of animation. I know there's some ducks, I think some little fish and things like that. And then now we are doing our terrain paint and adding in some trash cans, because I forgot about trash cans again, and no shock there. But this is the build just about done. The last thing was just a little bit more terrain paint. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop in the game and give you a quick tour. So here we are in the world of Mount Komorebi, and I built our lot right over here on this little 20 by 15 lot. I'm pretty sure it comes empty, so I don't think you even have to bulldoze anything to put it here. But here is what that lot looks like in live mode. You can see all the little ducks and things down. Under these lily pads, there are some like koi fish that swim around, and then I think there's also some other fish that I have placed down that you can see throughout the pond. If you stock this pond, you can have your sim fish here, so it's a good fishing spot too. Heading inside the house, it's very simple. Right when you walk in, you're met with a little entryway where we have a shoe and coat rack and also a trash can. I did put an indoor trash can this time. And then here we have our little kotatsu table, as well as a small and simple kitchen. And then up here we have a nice little bed space. There is a TV right here, so you can have your sims sit at the table and watch the TV. And here is our little bathroom. It is fully functional. I do have this shower right here. Your sims can walk over that shower, so it is functional with it being right there. They can still get to the sink and everything. And then at nighttime, I do have some fireflies placed down, so let me change it to be late. So this is what it looks like at nighttime. You can see the little fireflies floating around. I just think it looks so pretty. I love those VFX effects. I just think they really add to the build. But that is our lot done. So I will go ahead and place that on the gallery for you if you're interested in downloading it. It's actually already on the gallery for you since I did build this on Twitch, but this is called the Mount Komorebi micro home, and it is actually a starter lot. I didn't even realize I did that. It was not the goal, but it is starter fun, so you can use this right off the bat if you wanted to, and the only pack we use is the Snowy Escape pack. I do use hashtag #PlumerriaPlay to give you an easier time finding it, because I know the gallery can be a little buggy sometimes. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this build in the comments below, and let me know if you'd like to see any other expansion pack micro homes. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!